And so I know that we have two more questions, but I have a quick question. What did you take at Ottawa U to get into this?
Yeah, so funny enough, I studied business and accounting specifically. So nothing really related to horticulture at that time, but it was really our passion around social impact that kind of spurred us to what we do. And so now I do most of the financial side of the business, the operations, anything internal is my side of the shop, if you will.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, there you go. That could inspire some children maybe to some decisions in their future. Okay, so we have another question.
I think Mom said it wasn't a good question. So I was asking how many homeless people went homeless because they couldn't get enough money to buy. Oh, I didn't know that. In northern Canada.
So you're kind of asking what homelessness, like the numbers of homeless people up in the north.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know the number specifically on top of my head, but it's a great question. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that prices across, not just food, but housing and everything like that is quite expensive in the north. So it does. It is a challenge to be able to support families if you don't. If there are challenges that they're facing, or if you don't, if the prices are too high, it does make a big challenge. But I don't know that number off the top of my head, unfortunately.
Right. So I would have one thing to kind of throw in that conversation, world-changing cat, is that homelessness wouldn't really be possible up in the north the same way it is here just because of the weather. People could not be homeless because it is way too cold. So I know for sure in the north, there is kind of housing shortages, and there are a lot of people living in one, home. So sometimes they have more than just family members, probably to, accommodate for that, because you couldn't be out sleeping on the street. You would probably freeze. And there's another quick story. I used to work in the government for the Aboriginal Languages Initiative, and I got to go up to Rankin Inlet, and I was getting a tour from my host on a skidoo, going around looking at the community. And one thing I saw, so she had been telling me about this housing shortage and about, too many people having to be in one unit together. And then she showed me that there was this beautiful new build of like 5 townhomes ready. They looked gorgeous, ready to open. This was going to solve the problem, move, 5 families out into new homes. And then she told me that they'd been built but unoccupied for like something like 2 years because of a tiny little error that was made where they were built a little bit too close to the road. And so because of zoning laws, they weren't allowed to be opened. And I just thought that was the silliest thing I'd ever heard, because you had all these people who needed somewhere to live. You had amazing homes that it was not really a factor that, should result in them being closed, and they had to be closed. So
yeah,
that was very frustrating.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that I can agree in terms of they call it hidden homelessness, or you technically have a roof over your head, but it's hard to track that because you don't know. It might not be their home, but they're staying there, but they don't actually have a home of their own. So it's very interesting, but yeah, it's a challenge nonetheless in the north because of the housing shortage.
Yeah. So that's what I would say to the answer. It's not homelessness, but a housing shortage for sure. Yeah, good question. All right, next question.
How many shipping containers have you made in Canada?
Great question. Yeah, we have just over 20 now that are ready or have been installed and are growing. We have some that we're currently in the process of manufacturing to go to some new communities, but it's just over 20 now.
And do you have any in really remote, like in the high, I don't know if you call it the high north, really? And if so, because I know in Churchill it said you need to plug into water and and hydro, I think it said, maybe not called hydro, but I mean, in some communities way up north, do you use solar power? What do you do for power for those communities? Or are you in them yet?
We are in some high north communities, so we're in Kugluktuk in Nunavut. That's our furthest north. There, they use I believe they either connect off of their power source from the closest building, and they might. I believe they support it as well with some diesel generator in case there are any brownouts or power outages. So mostly it depends on the community, but it's usually connected to their local electricity source, or it is some sort of gas option. They are compatible with solar. We don't have any communities with solar panels yet, but we're hoping to be able to have that be added to some of our installations in the future.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing, just kind of pairing with it too. So natural, right? So now we're using the sun's energy and we're creating this beautiful food to feed the community, and it just is a good fit. That's
agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, a fun future step.